Man, I am so disappointed. I went on Omegle and I could not find anybody to have some conversation with. So, we're just gonna see if we can kick it old school and basically just have a one-on-one, basically me and the computer, and see if we can get somewhere, right? So, basically, this is a brand new laptop, and I'm trying to figure out how to use it. I found one person on Omegle, and they were basically like trying to engage in the conversation, and I turned on the screen recorder, and of course the screen recorder was not working efficiently enough for me to be able to record the entire video. So I'm just gonna do this. All right. So the first thing that we can talk about today is what are our goals? What are the things that we would like to get accomplished here, right? So I think that there is a political movement that is currently happening due to the fact that we have built up a certain amount of momentum, and I'm not talking in particular about me as an individual, but I'm talking about this ideal of being able to create some change that we have not been able to see in our political sphere over the last like 20 to 30 years, right? So there's been a stagnation that's basically happened due to multiple factors, right? There are multiple variables when trying to define what has happened over the last few decades that has forced us essentially not to be able to create the change that we have the potential to create. Right. And one of the areas that we'll go ahead and start talking about is the education system, right? So the education system, the way that it's functioning currently, right? It's not necessarily the best mode of operation so that people would have the ability to show their individuality and use their intelligence in different manners other than in the collegiate or the scholastic system, right? So there's that quote, right? If you're a fish, right, and the test is basically to climb up a tree, you're gonna fail it every time, right? But if you're a monkey, right, you're basically going to be able to pass the test, and it's going to be easy because the monkey was basically born so that it can climb the tree, which makes a lot of sense, right? And so that's kind of what I see going on in our like scholastic system, right? We have all these people that are so intelligent, they're so capable, they have the ability to be able to accomplish so much, but they're essentially stuck because the system isn't necessarily built for everybody, right? There's some certain people that can rise and get to the point where they're ultra successful in different areas, and it's primarily due to like being efficient enough in a certain system, right? So that's some of the areas that I definitely think we should talk about, right? And then the other part is the fact that once you finish like high school here in America, if you're a viewer from another country, you might have a different system. But for example, like once you graduate, right? Like we have a system that has been created in a format that doesn't necessarily allow everybody to be able to go to the higher levels of the higher education system in the same equality format, right? Like for example, if you're from like a wealthy family, right, you get access to like money which you can use so that you can pay tuition. Versus if you're not necessarily born into one of those higher classes, basically you have to take out the loans for it. You have to make sure that you have to pay back those loans, and then there's a likelihood, right, a high likelihood that you might not even get to the point where your degree is sufficient enough to be able to compete or be competitive in the job market that we're creating due to the fact that things are changing so fast. So we have all these technological advances that we're currently experiencing on top of the fact that the equality amongst the starting line that people have for going to college is completely different depending on who you are and where you were born to, right? So let's go ahead and move in towards the technological advances that we currently see, right? So with the onset of the creation of things like the internet, right, has 100% democratized the ability for free speech, the ability for freedom of the press, the ability so that we can have honest conversation about the direction that we're currently going. Right, and that's been really helpful. But at the same time, it's also created a situation where it's like we know how to get stuff done, right? But we don't necessarily have the ability to do so due to a few different factors, right? Like for instance, right now we are playing with a system, right? Like this system is basically set so that you can essentially, you work, and then you go and you pay your bills, and then you get a house, you get a mortgage, and it's like we are aware of the fact that this isn't the only way for us to be able to live life, but for the system to continue functioning the way that it's functioning, it's a necessity for us to, do these things and play these games, right? And then the other part is that, like, we've acknowledged that some people, get accessibilities that are unforeseen. Like, some people consider it like luck, right? Like, basically, like, you get the ability to be able to go and do something due to the fact of, you know, in what social strata that you're born to. And then you have those other people that are aware of the fact that it's not necessarily that, people aren't all working hard, but it's more like if you have that accessibility and you're aware of it and there's nothing you can essentially do about it, then you're put in a position where you are, forced to continue revolving around the same ideal, right? And those are one of the things that I think is making it difficult for people to be able to, go out and compete in the workforce, go out and appreciate the new technologies that we have access to, right? Like, currently, I've mentioned it a few times, but I'm going to mention it again just for the people, the viewers that might not have been able to understand, like, how I see the world, right? So the way that I see it is that we're essentially being forced, right, to play this game, right, where we have certain systems, monetary policy, the way that our policy and legislation is being created for the benefit of a certain class of individual, right? We're talking about the different strata of the monetary system that gives you access to the benefits of the capitalist system that we use, right? And instead of us all being like, all right, so if we have to play this game, let's, make it fair. Let's, help the individuals that were unfortunate where they were born. Instead of doing that, what we're doing is we're saying to them, hey, you know what? You need to work harder. It's because you're not working hard enough. It's because you're not putting forth effort. And in reality, it's because it's not that at all. It's like you have hardworking people that go to work every single day. Right? I'm talking working 8 to 10, 15 hours, working hard so that they can, put food on the table and make sure that their kids are fed and make sure that they have a roof over the house. All these situations going on, and we're telling them that they're just not working hard enough, that they didn't make the right decisions, when in reality, that's not it at all. It's the fact that it's not equal, like, accessibility to the benefits of the capitalist system are not equal to all people. Right, we're aware of that, right? And then you have, like, other people that are like, all right, so, we have technology so that we can 3D print a house that used to cost $150,000 to $350,000, same square footage, and we can do it in you know instead of it basically taking like 6 months to a year to build, we can build it in 2 weeks to a month, right? So that's the first advantage. Second advantage is that you can essentially, pay significantly less for the house that you're going to be built. That's going to be built, right? So you're looking at a situation where it's going to take a less amount of time. It's also going to be cheaper, but the way that the real estate industry works and how it plays into the entire economy is too important for us to go into a system where we're 3D printing houses and using those the benefits of the new technologies that we have access to. It's not helpful for a certain system to be technologically, too technologically advanced, because what it does is it creates a gap between the how the system functions and the way that it has the potential to function. And once you create that gap, right, you're interfering with how the monetary system works, not only here in the United States, but on a global scale. So when you're talking about, like, real estate, for example, huge industry in the United States. Matter of fact, 2008 was a prime example of how important the real estate industry is in the United States. Right, you had a system, and we were basically, handing out money. Shouldn't have been doing that. There were people that were, they had predatory mindsets towards how they were going to be able to give that money out, and they did it. Crashed our economy, didn't help out. What would happen if we had, let's say, all of those real estate industries